So my name is Mantha. So actually, I'm known as Mantha in the industry. So maybe since I'm also different on the platform here. Everybody else is a module manufacturer. I'm the only guy who is different here. And I would like to touch a bit on the yesterday. I think quite a few were there yesterday, are also here today, and the GTM research was talked about, and then none of you, I think, found a smart track in that list. So after I state few facts, maybe you will have to, I leave it to you, the information, whether to depend on the research reports to take a decision. SmartTrack is a 7-year-old company, and we have commissioned 275 megawatts as of now, and 75 sites. So if you look at it, yesterday they talked about 1.45 gigawatt as the tracker installation size. I think we are 20% if you look at the size of the tracker industry today. And in terms of the number of sites, maybe the balance all put together will be 75 sites in my opinion. So, and now capability of the tracker I would talk about now. And see, we are the first one to achieve the barrier of 2 lakhs. I don't know, in solar industry, even I was surprised when I looked at the results. So we have crossed the 2 lakh barrier per megawatt achievement in terms of number of units. I don't know how many of you are developers here, the EPC companies. I would like to listen to that. So first time I've seen it happening, 2 lakh units. And in terms of capability, in a given day, the tracker technology has produced 33% PLF, which is again is going to be new in the industry. And in a month, an average 29% PLF has been achieved. It's a sine curve distribution. So, and in a year, close to 23% is the PLF achieved. This is all achieved using the SmartTrack technology. And now, if you look at it, my role at SmartTrack, so I don't sell much of SmartTrack. My job is to ensure that they achieve the growth, double their growth, or triple their growth. So I play an active role there to improve their efficiencies at each of those divisions. The first challenge that we have looked at is that even the civil division is an independent SBU. We offer services the other tracker manufacturers as solution, the civil solutions. And we have also now looked at, we are a specialist in now, yesterday they coined the word manual tracker. We are also specialists in manual tracker. So I've introduced that concept of manual tracking, and maybe we will also do fixed tracker. I'm known doing things differently. And the other challenge that which was given up by the tracker companies in India is that a terrain which is 90 feet from one end to the other feet with different undulations, we have installed a tracker installation in less than 3 months' time. So terrain which is 90 feet difference from one end to the other end, and with the different undulations, you can imagine a mountain, typically a mountain, a tracker installation is done there, which is less than 30 days' time. So this is in terms of, okay, I had to talk more about this because yesterday DGM research didn't cover SmartTrack. And now in terms of the tracker technology, if you look at it, it's very simple. You put the pedestal, there is no difference between the fixer or any other structure. You put the pedestal, you put the bearing assembly, you put the bearings, then the torque tubes, and you put the hat section and the modular. And yesterday again they introduced the decentralized and centralized the concept. In a decentralized, you don't use the drive strut and then drive truss assemblies. And in the centralized, you use that. This is simple technology. And SmartTrack I make in India. I think all of you developers should give the first right of refusal to the Indian companies before you buy anything from outside. I think 16 installations I've done from 1 megawatt to 2 megawatt to 5 to 20 and 25 megawatt in the country. So I come with, this is my 10th year in the solar industry after having spent more than 2 decades plus in the IT industry. So with that kind of a thing, so you should give the first right of refusal. I will tell you why. Now, SmartTrack in the 7 years, they manufactured almost everything in India except the motor and the component that go into electrical assembly, PCB. The rest of all is done by SmartTrack. They manufacture actuators, they manufacture the controllers, they manufacture the bearings, and constantly innovating and evolving over a period of 7 years. And then we are the one to introduce the spherical bearing. So in a terrain where you need to have 3 to 5 degree undulations and adopt it, so spherical bearings can take care of that. So you don't need to worry about leveling that point of time. So this is simply in terms of the technology. So yesterday discussion came out between the fixer and then the tracker. So I still leave it to because our job as a salesman to give the information. So and help you buy. We don't believe in selling. That's my philosophy of sales. Okay, and in this scenario, yesterday I think Puneet talked about GenSol very clearly, which I would say that it's a sine curve distribution generation, and in a peak hour, 1 megawatt inverter at 98% efficiency, majority of them around that, cannot pump more than that, 0.98. So peak hour can be 1 hour, 1.5 hours or 50 minutes, whatever it may be. I'm not getting into the details. It cannot pump. So what you're trying to, flatten the sine curve. And then so that at every hour you want that 980 kilowatt of pumping should go in. So what happens, generation during the peak time. So yesterday he talked about, I don't know, module manufacturers will have to comment on that. What happens that extra generation that is done during peak time? Where is it going? Generation. So the module can talk about it. The second thing is inverter guys will have to talk about, can you run an electronic product or an automobile product consistently for 6 hours non-stop at 98% efficiency? What will happen to that product? You are doing a 1.5, 1.6, 1.5 AC-DC ratio. So you want to put that curve to flat. That means inverter has to run for 6 hours continuously at full capacity. Can a car run, automobile car? You will stop it after 2 hours or 3 hours. So this is the information I'm leaving it between the fixer and the tracker. As a tracker technology, I talked about the performance and the numbers before you. And I'm now giving the where unknown territory. I don't know, frankly. I'm not that technologist to talk about inverter and module, whether what happens to the extra generation during that peak time. So what is the damage that will happen to your system? So I leave the information. So that is in terms of excited fixel tilt and then people showed the failures yesterday. Okay, so the structure failures and then different failures, photographs were shown yesterday. And can you pinpoint the responsibility on the 5 stakeholders? Either the procurement team, the design team, or the EPC team, or the owner himself? Who exactly is responsible for all those failures? Can you pinpoint it? At the end of the day, poor vendor is going to take the blame. I agree. You can't help it because that is easier. If you look at the LinkedIn, the posts that have happened, everybody keeps blaming the vendor. But actually, who is responsible? Is the design team responsible? Is the procurement team? Or the owner himself says, no, you put 1.6 DC ratio, no problem. I need that numbers because morning the bank has talked about that numbers. He said, okay, P90, 1.2 DSCR ratio. The only way you can do it, on the PVC's report, you'll have to show that much. Okay, so given that, so who will have to, blame them? And then another point that was talked about yesterday was the punch points. Even after 5 years, the punch points not are cleared. And if you really look at it, the summary, nobody gives you credit except the 3 guys in the solar industry. The civil guy, the structure guy, to some extent, fixed guys doesn't give you, tracker guys give you basically because we have control over the tracker. We can stop that from running remote. We can do that, give you a little credit. And the DC guys and the AC guys. This is the only thing labor driven. So morning they didn't talk about this part, and in 5 years if you don't give the payment to that guy because of punch points, and who is suffering is the labor because that vendor who is the aggregator is not going to pay the labor. He'll say, I have not got the money. So what happens in that scenario? Maybe all the developers were there. The key point that you need to address is that module guy China gets his money 100%, no problem. Okay, the inverter gets 100%. Every other guy gets the 100% except these 3 vendors. Poor guy and all the punch points because of their problems, and these guys suffered. So what I would say at the end of the day, because nobody gave the approach, everybody talked about the solution, my approach would be is to please collaborate. And solar is a different behavior altogether. I can tell you, when I started in the solar industry, first thing when I also handle the module manufacturing, supply chain. I don't know how many of you have experienced that. If you buy less, you will get at a lesser price. This is not the business behavior, conventional business behavior. If you buy more, you will get less. In solar, if you buy less, you will get a lesser price. Those days when you buy the wafer or you buy the cells, they always say that, boss, you take, no, you don't talk about 10 megawatt, I'll give you 500 kilo, I'll give you a 2 cents less. This is the behavior of solar. So you need to, because majority of the procurement team, they're coming from the conventional team into this, and they apply the same principles here. So my request will be, please collaborate having chosen that, a vendor at the site, because any site you go and see today, he'll be either a fresher, site person, or he will be with one site installation experience, because you will not get a guy to stay there at 48 degrees and 45 degrees and then do installation project. He'll run away after 2 days. Either he becomes sick or he'll run away. So please collaborate, my sincere request, because this is going to have a huge impact at the O&M at the end of the day. Because a plant which I missed out here consistently for 4 years, because I built that plant as part of my portfolio, consistently has been giving greater than 18% returns using a tracker. Year on year, it's purely because of O&M. Because the plant was built well and O&M has become easy. Another plant which I talked about is also built by me, because that is the reason I take pride in presenting these numbers of 33, 29 and 23. As part of my earlier portfolio, I built this plant. So it's giving a huge number. So at the end of the day, my message is to, request is to collaborate. Please don't look at as a vendor independently and then behave the way you behave with a vendor. He's your team at the end of the day. Okay, punch points, collectively resolve it, and end of the day, take pains to make that last 10% payment or 5% payment. Because industry is suffering. 2.44 guy is not going to get a civil vendor, in my opinion, if this continues. Because you don't get a civil vendor at the end of the day. All of them are running away because I don't get my payment. Let's not do solar at all. The risk for 2.44 is large here rather than okay at that. Okay, I calculated 2 other points which Anand wanted me to address, is that GST, and the other one is the 2.44. For a 2.44, the project cost is 2.31 crores. Anybody can challenge me, I have no problem, I'll then clarify to you. And a 10% or little buffer also I am saying, or a 25% cent and then 66 conversion ratio of a dollar. Okay, so and the second thing is for GST, today it's 8 lakhs per megawatt for MNRE exemption. That is the only thing which needs to be addressed first. Because MNRE exemption, if they give, you don't need to worry about GST we are talking about. The cost for the project is 8 lakhs per megawatt if that excise duty exemption is not passed on. So that is not addressed in GST. So let the GST charge, let MNRE give an exemption, we don't need to worry about. So we need to go to MNRE and cry rather than, okay, morning we talked about, just go to them and then give the same extension. How do you do it? That can come out of the policy direction and then they will give you certification and all that will follow. So 8 lakhs. And the second thing is in terms of the CST or a VAT that you talk about, majority of them were buying from Bangalore because there's 0% tax there, sales tax. So what happens to that, who are buying that? So if these two are addressed, otherwise I think for a VAT 5%, overall solar power generating station, that is being paid even currently also. And that remains the same for the GST. There is no impact there. If you go to an EPC, the only thing is majority of them are not, okay, going the EPC route. They have their own team now. Very less number of people still go for EPC at this point of time. And finally, when you collaborate, my last, the point is that it has to be a turnkey approach to you. The conventional procurement behavior is to break it till every layer and squeeze the margin of every part. Don't do that. Stop somewhere. Especially when it comes to structure, because I am going to restrict myself to structure. I don't want to give complete jnana that I have. So when it comes to structure, the civil erection and the structure supply has to be one. Don't break that. Because when compared to why the tracker industry, you should prefer the discipline of a tracker installation is very, very high. Because alignment restrictions are so much that, okay, that takes care of, the discipline takes care of the installation. If you break that up, supply guy will say, I don't know what the civil guy has done. And then erection guy will say, the sagging is there and then bend, I don't know what the erection guy has done there, MMS erection. So my request is, don't break that. Today the industry behavior is that, okay, let me not get into the pain area, which I would like to avoid. That's what I've been promoting at SmartTrack. Let's be a turnkey players. Okay, mini EPC you can call it. So if you break this up, you have no solution at all at the end of the day. The punch points will never get closed. You cannot expect a civil guy to have any punch points. Their maximum cooping and then 150 mm. That's all, nothing more than that. But the work there is going to impact the pedestal alignment and then MMS alignment and then erection of modules. So this I strongly feel that, especially EPC players or whoever it may be, because they would look at, okay, let me take the MMS and then squeeze some margin there, let me do the civil myself. You give only the design or you give the electronic components, okay, the tracker component, that's it. You give, your job is that, rest of it will take care. Please don't do that. Let it be an integrated solution and let that person demonstrate the complete capability to you. Otherwise, you are not going to have a solution which is suitable for O&M to take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manta.